Hi, my name is Olivier Girardot. I'm a music composer and a sound designer. Welcome to my YouTube channel. I recently made a bunch of forest sound atmospheres, some of which I have already shared on YouTube. They go from calm and peaceful woods during a sunny day to windy and rainy, all the way up to full-blown storms ripping off the trees. But I also made some fantasy forest sounds, like magic woods or dragonlands or haunted forests. And this is what we're going to talk about today. After getting a few requests about it, I'm going to show you how I did my haunted forest sound design. Let's do this!
Welcome to my Haunted Forest work session. As you can see, it is divided in several sections, which are winds, rains, thunderstrikes, the mandatory crows for haunted places, and of course, ghosts. I will tell you later about this last section called Space Drone. That's a surprise for the end. Let's deploy all that, and we can see that this adds up to a lot of tracks. I've made bigger projects in the past, but this is not a small one either. Especially considering that some of these tracks are themselves projects on their own, made of several tracks. We'll get into that later. I'm not going to go into too much details about the winds, rains and thunderstorm because I've already done that in two other videos. One of them is the Forest in the Storm video where I explain everything about the winds, the rain and the thunderstrikes. So let's have a listen to the full track. If you want to hear it, I've uploaded the full 10 minutes track on YouTube. I will leave the link in the description below. I am not going to go into details about the wind tracks or the rains or the thunderstrikes. Because I've already explained all that in my Forest in the Storm video. You can have a look at it. I've also put the link in the description below. Next step, the crows, an important part of scary outdoor atmospheres. As you may already know, sometimes we sound designers are a bit lazy. And in this case, I used a crow track from another project. Let's open it. All these snippets are recordings of crows that I have made in the past years. I have to tell you that it's really difficult to record birds, especially when you live in a big city like Berlin. The good thing though is that there are plenty of crows in Berlin. And sometimes I just need to place my mic on my window that leads to the courtyard and I'll get plenty of crows recordings, especially at dawn. It can be creepy sometimes, but you get used to the crows in Berlin. Actually, there's a pretty cool display of wildlife in Berlin. Anyway, the hard part is to get clean recordings. There are always cars in the background, planes in the sky, people cooking with their windows open, children playing in the courtyard. But with a little bit of patience and a lot of cleaning up, you end up getting what you need. I just added a very simple reverb to add some creepiness and maybe a little distance. And here is another little trick. I played with the panning to give the impression that the crow is flying nearby rather than being static on a branch as it originally was when I recorded it. So basically, you pan from left to right or the other way around. It's really simple. You can also play with the volume to give the impression that the crow is getting closer or flying away. Increasing the reverb while decreasing the volume emphasizes the impression of distance. But don't overdo it. A big part of sound design is to listen and adjust your settings in order to reach the goal that you are looking for. Okay, let's move on to the most interesting part, the ghost sounds. What always works well are whisper sounds, and they are very easy to make. It's pretty basic. You just need to do some making sort of a cave with your mouth, making it wider or more narrow when you expel. You can do also some reversed breathing and stuff like that. Then it's just about adding a long reverb with lots of feedback and you get the creepy effect that you want. Here I used one of my favorite plugins, which is Replica from Native Instruments. It's actually a delay, but I often use it as a reverb with my own settings. But this is of course up to you. You have to play around with your own tools and find your own sweet spots. Let's move on to more complex ghost sounds. These are sounds I made for another project which I recycled but adapted for this project. I made quite a few ghost manifestations that I used as a template here, but for this specific project I just took the most discreet ones because I didn't want to make an overcrowded ghost rave party in the woods. I wanted to make something more subtle and actually more worrying. As you can see, we barely hear the ghosts in the track. Okay, so let's open my ghost files and have a look. You might recognize the first one. The first 3 tracks are recordings of my own voice, as you may recognize, that I have mixed together and to which I added some reverb, panning to create some movement, and some additional mixing, of course. I don't know if it's a single ghost or a group of them lamenting over their own fate, whatever you want it to be, as long as it sounds creepy. To this you can add whatever scary sounds you like. For example, this is a very long tail from a reverb of a recording of a woman saying "remember." I just doubled it, reversed the first one, faded them together, and it makes this weird sound of something scary getting closer and moving away. Screech is just a squeaky sound that I recorded and pitched down super low. I thought it sounded creepy. Squeaky and scratchy sounds always do the trick. I also added some artificial VST sounds like this one. Space Drone is a really cool VST from Native Instrument Reactor that I'll show you in a minute. And finally, here's a sample of classical voices that I have sampled and mixed together and to which I added some reverbs. You see, there are lots of ways to create some creepy sounds. You just need a little bit of imagination, but the most important is to open your ears to find sounds that you could turn into creepy noises. Let's have a listen to the other ghost manifestations. Okay, that last one is probably a bit too much. I didn't use it in the project in the end. Okay, let's go back to our project. The last sounds that I added are space drone sounds that I mentioned before. So let's check this VST out in another project and play around with it. Here are the kind of sounds that you can get from this cool software. Just play around with the knobs and the different features to obtain what you're looking for. There are plenty of presets that you can start playing with. You can find videos on YouTube that explain in details what you can do with Space Drone. I recommend you check them out if you want to dive deeper into it. Here you go, this was my Haunted Forest display video. I hope you enjoyed it.
Thank you for watching. If you liked the video, please put a thumbs up and support the channel by subscribing. I'm only a few subscribers away from the 1K milestone, but I still need many more views before I can qualify for monetization. So if you want to help me out, you can rewatch some of my videos or play them in the background while you're cooking or cleaning up. You can have a calm and relaxing forest sound or a bursting volcano, whatever works for you. That would mean a lot to me. See you soon for some more sound design videos. Bye bye.